Hi, this is Charlie from Path of the Bee. In this video, I'm going to cut some timber for my mine. Let's get started. So I've harvested some cedar trees. A friend of mine had some on his property. He sold them to me, and I've got about 600 board feet. So these timbers that I'm going to cut are 14 feet long, and they're 12 by 12. So, you know, pretty big timber back in the day. They originally built this mine shaft with, and so I'm going to try and replace a few rows on that to give me some room to put some material and prospect further what was originally down in that shaft. So I'm trying to do that this fall here before it snows. I don't expect to get the timbers installed until early next spring when finally the snow melts off enough that I can get back into the mine. But so that's what I'm working on now, and so let's get going on this. One of the things I want to talk about real quick is my sawmill here. If you get a Wood Mizar, it's got these plastic jugs on them. Keep them out of the sun, and I mean keep them out of the sun. I wasn't aware of that, so these upper corners have all just got sun rotted and broken. They leak gas. I can only fill it up about 25-30% before it leaks. I'm gonna take an old steel boat tank and convert it to work for my sawmill here. But just so you're aware, if you've got one of these, you have a plastic tank, keep them covered up and out of the sun. Another thing with your Wood Mizar mill is your controller here. You want to keep the weather off of this, not only the rain and snow and stuff, but the sun also. It'll eat up your buttons and your levers. And so I fabricated this handy dandy 5-gallon bucket. I cut a notch in here. It'll slide right over here. Stick on that to protect it, and then I bent the bale around so it actually will lock on there, and it won't come off in a windstorm or whatever, and that'll protect my my control unit on my little Wood Mizar. And then also for the engine, for the motor here, I just took a plastic 55-gallon barrel, sawed a chunk off of it, a little bit of a notch out of it, and now I can I cover this up for the winter if I need to or whatever. It keeps the rain off of it. Having a building to store things in would be way better, and someday I'll have a building. Okay, so one other thing I want to talk about is saw blades before I get going. Do a little review on them. I first picked this mill up. My dad actually purchased it, and I've used it a lot over the years. We started out using the blades that came with the Wood Mizar blades. They cut really good. Had good luck, and then I started looking around for, a better deal or a good blade, and I found Cook's Manufacturing, and so I started buying blades from them, and had pretty good luck over the years. And I always used to try and keep about 20 in stock. Several years ago, I had a big batch of them, and then I kind of slowed down and didn't cut as much, and then. I got low and I ordered a box of 10, and then when I finally ran out, they'd been sitting on the shelf for over a year, and I put them on, and man, they wouldn't cut nothing. And then so I called them up and said, hey, those blades won't cut nothing. And they said, well, we don't know what to do. It's been over a year. I said, well, send me another box of blades. So they did, and they wouldn't cut nothing. So I was thinking my mill was screwed up, but I went ahead and ordered a box of blades from Wood Mizar, and they showed up, and we're back in business. So don't buy blades from Cook's Manufacturing. Okay, so this log here measures about 13 inches on the little end here, 13 and a half, the bark. So to make a 12 by 12, I'm going to end up with quite a bit of wane on that end. The big swell bed on the cedar, it looks like it's probably up around 24. Yeah, that butts up there about 24 inches. And so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to position this log, and I'm going to measure from the heart. So I'll cut 6 inches above the heart on the butt end and 6 inches above the heart on the little end. We'll flip it over and we'll cut 12 inches above that. That'll give me a parallel 12 by 12. So that's the plan. I'll get her adjusted up. Okay, so right now, off of the bottom of the deck here, we're looking at, here's the heart to the deck, and so we're looking at 9 3/4. As I raise that little end up, that's going to come down. So I'm going to try and raise that upper end up to about 9 1/2, and then we'll see where we're at. So I'll grab my little handy handle here, and we'll try and crank that up. Okay, that should be perfect. I'll go check on the other end. Okay, so I've got this heart centered in here. I'll go ahead and lock it in, get it ready to cut, and then I'm going to adjust my saw 6 inches above this heart, which it'll just start shaving here, and it'll take a pretty big cut down at the end. Fact is, I might just start cutting halfway down the log and see if I can get some 2-inch out of it, maybe for some lagging in the mine shaft if it gets to that point. So. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get that oriented the direction that I want it to go down into that mine shaft, and I'm going to cut the notches in the ends. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mark down 12 inches, and I'm going to cut in 12 inches this direction, and then I'm going to back out of it, and so I'm going to get those spots marked. Okay, so thankfully I had a little bit of wane there, and I could make that bottom cut sitting like this, but I'm going to have to turn these logs for every cut I make. So I'll go ahead and use a chainsaw and finish that notch, and then we'll get it flipped end for end and finish cutting the other one. Okay, so because that's 12 by 12, when that next log fits in there on that 3-inch notch, it'll have a 3-inch notch in it, and so the centers of the log will be lined up with the split in the next one, and so that's how that's going to go. I'll go ahead and flip it around and cut the other end. Okay, there's one done. What I'll do is I'll make as many of these 14 footers as I can, and then anything that's a little bit too small in diameter, I'll make some 7 footers. But it's going to take 2 14s and 2 7s to do one row around the mine shaft, and I'm hoping to have enough material to do 2 in the spring. This right here material that I brought home, there's enough big stuff to do, like 1.5 laps up the mine shaft. So okay, so you can see how the corners go together here now, and I've got a couple pieces cut. I stacked them up so that center split runs right in the center. This next end piece, the center of this seam will be right in the dead center. And we'll just keep doing that as we go up. I'm thinking that, I started out with this cedar because it's light. And at this point, I have to get everything into the mine with the ATV, and so I'm gonna modify a little bitty lightweight boat trailer, narrow it up, make it legal to get behind gates, and I'll transport these beams in there with the ATV next spring. I will. That's why I chose cedar, is because it's light and I can maneuver it. As I get up a couple rows, I'll probably switch to Douglas fir because it's available, and even though it is a little bit heavier, I get out of the hole a little bit. It'll give me some place to work, and I'll probably have a better mechanism in for moving a little bit heavier material around. But to start out with, I really wanted to use the cedar for just mainly because it's rot resistant and lightweight. So this 2 feet all the way around will be room for a lot of material to go in, and if I need a third layer, like I said, I'll be thinking about going to red fir or something a little bit more affordable. Okay, so that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.